am going to chat a little bit about classroom management. So, most of you all know that I have moved into a new role at a high school, and I pretty much have gone back to coaching. I don't think many of my um, people that follow me on Facebook realize that I used to be a master teacher for 2 years. I used to be a mentor teacher under the TAP program. So I wasn't really feeling the whole out of the classroom thing. And then I know people probably are like, are you nuts? That you all are dying to get out of the classroom. Well, it wasn't for me. One of the things that I did not like about the class, being out of the classroom, is that it did not help me with my keeping my skill set sharp. And so, one of the things that um, really just bothered me is that I couldn't, you know, bring the information and recall the information like I could used to. So I went back into the classroom, and that was, woo, it's been about 7 years. So tonight I am sharing a blog post from my blog, the 3 keys for managing difficult behavior. Managing a difficult classroom. So I am going to share my screen right quick. And here it is. So if you're looking for it on my website, this is it. Now, with this, we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about one key point in here, and I'm going to talk about it in detail. It says that you have the first thing is you have to have an appropriate level of dominance. And a lot of people feel like this idea of dominance is, taking the student's ability to think away, taking the student's ability to do all these different things. And some teachers like they need to have choice. They need to have this. Well, the student's perception of who you are and how you lead your classroom is very, very important when it comes to classroom management. And I'm saying that for 2 reasons. A lot of students really see you as the person who needs to have control of the classroom. And when I say control, I'm talking about the ability to set goals, to lead, and to guide them because they're putting their trust in you. And regardless of what you may think about certain students, they still view you in that light. And it's always funny when a teacher gets in trouble and she or he does something that the students actually do as well. And the number one thing that the students say is, well, you're the teacher. And they expect you to act a lot differently. So, and parents say the same thing, regardless of what goes on, except for when we see these videos on social media of different altercations. But for the most part, I can say that students hold teachers in a different light. So, if you find yourself, because school just began, it does not take long for your classroom to be under siege. And I know you're probably saying, oh my gosh, she used that word under siege. Well, yes, because if you don't run your classroom, there are several little children or big children that are willing to run your class for you. Now, some students will restrain themselves, and that's what I have found in a classroom teacher's class that I support, that the children are really being patient with them. They're not out of control, but I know that it's only going to last so long because this teacher has to show that they're in control of things. And for example, this is at a high school now. I'm like, well, you all are out of control. So I'm in the classroom with the teacher because I support the teacher and I go in and out to see how things are going. Well, and I kid you not, a student tried, it was after lunch, and I guess the student wasn't able to eat um, the lunch, and she proceeded to take the hamburger out of the bag and was going to open it in the classroom. No, ma'am. This is not Starbucks. You're not at a cafe somewhere. And that's what I'm saying when taking control. And it's not a confrontational thing. The teacher has to establish those rules, those routines, and what the classroom expectations are. So if you find your classroom under siege or the kids are slowly taking over the classroom, you have to know where you stand in your classroom. Are you allowing the kids to take the lead and you're following? Or is it you're taking the lead and the children are following? The children are never in control. And I can say that because if they are controlling your classroom, what are you there for? They need somebody who can say, okay, these are my expectations. And I know that there's some apprehensiveness with certain teachers about how to approach different students. And like I tell all teachers, it is not a confrontational way that you approach these students. And I'm at a high school and I'm only 5'6", and some of these kids are bigger than my brothers. So the way that I approach the students is, could you please put your cell phone away? Thank you so much. And that's how I address the students. And even when I was in elementary, a lot of times I did address those issues the same way, but it's not confrontational. So, and if the student does not comply, that's a totally different situation. But do not ignore behaviors that are going to escalate at the end. Because if you're allowing the students to have cell phones out, if you're allowing the students to eat during your classroom, and then you want to say 2 weeks from now that, oh, you can't eat in the classroom. Oh, you got to get off your cell phone. The first thing that the student is going to say, and they got some lip for you, they are going to say, well, you used to let us do it. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. Put your classroom expectations in place and control the classroom. Because like I said a few minutes ago, there are some children that are waiting to take control of your classroom. So I put the link to my blog post in the description of this live stream, and you can read the whole article. But if you don't take anything away from this live stream, get control of your classroom. And I know some of you all are saying that, well, I'm a nice person. Well, here's the thing. Your students don't need a nice person. They need a structured person. They need somebody who's going to be able to guide them and provide a free and appropriate education. And if you cannot do that, then you might want to have some reflection and try to figure out, what do you need in order to be the leader and provide guidance instructionally and behaviorally with your students? Because if you cannot do that, you are doing the children a disservice by even being there. I know that some of the teachers are saying, the kids may be disrespectful, and there are some groups that are disrespectful, but you have to hold your ground. And I know it's a lot of first year teachers. It is second, third, fourth week of school. And if you see yourself going down that slope and your kids are out of control, get some help. Reach out to one of your groups on Facebook. Reach out to a mentor in the building. But once that classroom is out of control, it's really difficult to get them back on board with you, meaning you're not going to be able to get them back on board until the break happens, which is December. So that means from if they're out of control in October, they're going to be out of control until December. You take a break and then you reestablish the rules and the classroom expectations. But now is the time to rein them in, even if you have been lax. I had to tell the teacher that I support today, follow the routine. Routines and procedures will keep your class running smoothly. And I'm not saying that I haven't had days where the students ate my lunch, because they did. But it wasn't 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Your downtime, it's your students' uptime. Do not let them get the best of you. Put your rules and procedures, your routines and procedures in place, and make sure that they are tight and you follow that plan for your classroom. So that's all I have for you all today. If you have any question, comments, definitely on Facebook, leave it in the comment section. If you're on Twitter, tweet to me. And I will see you all in my next live stream. Bye-bye.